You have worked hard to pay off your flat. It is your home and your biggest asset. But can it give you retirement income without selling? That's what the HDB Lease Buyback Scheme is for. In this video, I'll break it down simply and clearly. What it is, how it works, how much you might get, who qualifies, and how to apply. Plus, the pros and cons, whether is it worth considering. Now, let's dive in. The Lease Buyback Scheme, or LBS, allows senior age 65 and above to sell part of their remaining HDB flat lease back to HDB in exchange for a lump sum of cash and CPF top-up while continuing staying in their flat. And here's how it works. You sell part of your flat remaining lease to HDB, but keep a minimum of 15 to 30 years of lease depending on your age. HDB will pay you a lump sum, part of it in cash and part of it in CPF retirement top-up. That CPF top-up increases your CPF LIFE payout, giving you money income for life. You continue living in your current flat, nothing changes. The key benefit, you unlock cash without selling your home and continue living in a familiar environment. When you join the Lease Buyback Scheme, you will receive money in 3 ways. Now don't worry if all these numbers sound overwhelming. You don't need to memorize any of it. Later in the video, I will show you a quick and simple way to check your actual figures based on your flat age and CPF balance. You will see how much you need to top up and how much cash you might receive. Now let's go through the 3 parts very quickly. Part of the payout go into your CPF retirement account, and at the time of recording for application received from January 2025, if you are the sole owner, the amount is 213K if you are aged 65 to 69, 203K if you are aged 70 to 79, 193K if you are aged 80 or above. If the flat has 2 or more owners, each person must top up to the current age adjusted basic retirement sum. By the way, basic retirement sum is half of the full retirement sum. It will then be used to buy CPF Life plan. This means you will receive money payout for life. And to qualify for CPF Life, your RA must have at least 60K after the top up. If you're 80 or older, you won't be eligible to join CPF Life. After top up your CPF RA, any remaining proceeds can be received in cash up to maximum 100K per household. If there's any money left after that 100K cash that you receive, it will go back to your CPF to further top up your RA or Medisave. You will also receive a one-time bonus from HDB depending on your flat type, up to 30K for 3-room or smaller flat, 15K for 4-room, and 7,500 for 5-room or bigger flat. And to receive the full bonus, your household must top up at least 60K. If you top up less than that, the bonus will be prorated, and there's a formula to calculate the exact bonus depending on your CPF top up and flat type, which I will not go into those details here. Do know that if all the owners have reached the full retirement sum (FRS) prior to joining the Lease Buyback Scheme and do not need to top up their CPF RA, the household will not receive this bonus. What most people care about is how much will I actually get. We'll cover that in the next section with real examples and how HDB calculate for you. So just a quick recap. Under Lease Buyback Scheme, you will receive money in 3 ways. First, most of the money go into your CPF RA to boost your CPF Life payout. Second, after top up your CPF RA, any remaining proceeds can be received in cash up to 100K per household. And third, you might receive a one-time bonus depending on your flat type and CPF top up. How much money you actually receive depends on your flat value, the number of lease years you sell back, and your CPF top up requirement. To qualify for the scheme, you must be a Singaporean, and all owners of the flat must be at least age 65. The household income must not exceed 14,000 per month, and you must not own any residential property. The scheme is open to all flat types as long as your flat has at least 20 years of lease remaining. However, it does not apply to short lease flats. If you meet this criteria, you are eligible to apply. You will start by making an appointment online with your HDB branch office. I'll leave the official link in the video description. During your appointment, the HDB officer will explain the various monetization options including lease buyback, go through lease buyback scheme in details, help you calculate your estimated total payout and monthly CPF Life income. This appointment is not a commitment. You can take your time to decide after that. If you decide to go ahead with the lease buyback, HDB will appoint a valuer to determine your flat value and the amount of lease to be sold back. A financial counseling session will also be arranged with you and your family. You will be shown the actual payout breakdown and monthly income under lease buyback scheme. You can then confirm during that session if you wish to proceed. If you are ready to proceed, HDB will invite you to sign the legal documents in about 2 months. On the day of signing, you will receive any cash payout above the required CPF top-up, and the bonus will be credited to your bank account. Your CPF Life monthly income will typically begin 1 or 2 months after the completion. Fee to note, there's an admin fee of about $100 plus legal fee of between $300 to $500 depending on your flat type. These are automatically deducted from your proceeds and no upfront payment is required. Now, let's walk through a real-life case study using an official example by HDB. This will give you a better picture of how lease buyback scheme might work for you or your family. For example, Mr. and Mrs. Lim are Singaporean, both age 65. They jointly own a fully paid 4-room HDB flat worth 450,000 with a 65 years of lease remaining. They decided to retain 30 years and sell the remaining 35 years of lease back to HDB. That 35 years tail end lease is valued by HDB at 190,000. At age 65, the basic retirement sum BRS is 106,500 per person, and their existing CPF LIFE balance for Mr. Lim is 20,000, for Mrs. Lim is 15,000. So they use the lease buyback proceeds to top up their CPF RA. So Mr. Lim top up 86,500 and Mrs. Lim top up 91,500. That leaves a total of 12,000 in excess cash for the couple after topping up. Because their combined CPF top up is more than 60,000, so they also qualify for the full 15k lease buyback bonus for 4-room flat. Based on their final CPF RA balance, their estimate CPF LIFE payout is about 1,200 per month for life. And remember, they didn't need to move. They continue living in their flat with a 30 years lease still intact. Now, let's be honest, the lease buyback scheme is helpful, but it's not for everyone. It comes with real benefit, but also real trade-offs. So before you decide, it's important to understand both sides clearly. So what are the advantages? First, you get to stay in your flat. The lease buyback scheme allows you to monetize part of your flat while continue living in it. That means you don't need to sell, downsize or move. Second, it gives you money income for life. Most of your proceeds goes into your CPF retirement account, which increases your CPF LIFE payout. This monthly payout will continue for life, even if your flat is returned to HDB early. Third, the whole process is handled by HDB. You don't need to find an agent or go through the resale paperwork. There's even a free financial counseling section included. And at that stage, you can still decide not to proceed. The application is only confirmed after you sign the legal document. So what are the trade-offs? First, the decision is final. Once you sign the legal documents, the lease sale is irreversible. You cannot extend the lease or undo the transaction. Second, you give up flexibility. After joining the scheme, you cannot sell or rent out the whole flat. Only spare rooms are allowed for rental. Third, if you pass away, your spouse or your child who is already living in the flat may continue to stay for the balance of the lease period, but only if they meet the HDB requirement conditions. Otherwise, the flat must return to HDB. HDB will then reimburse your beneficiary for the value of the unused lease based on a method called straight-line depreciation. So what does that mean? It means that the lease value is treated as dropping evenly year by year. So if you had a 30 years lease and pass on after 15 years, HDB will refund the value of the unused 15 years. Fourth, your CPF LIFE payout stops when you pass on, and any unused CPF LIFE premium will be refunded to your CPF account, and that refunds go to your nominee. And lastly, your bonus depends on how much CPF you can top up. To receive the full lease buyback bonus, your household must top up at least 60k into CPF. And if your top up is less, the bonus is also prorated. And if you have already met your CPF full retirement sum, you may not receive the bonus unless you further top up to Medisave within limits. At the end of the day, the lease buyback scheme isn't for everyone. If you are someone who wants to stay in your home, enjoy a simple retirement, and receive money income for life, it may be worth exploring. If you are concerned about inheritance or the flat resale value, then this scheme might not be right for you. Personally, I think that the biggest concern is that once you enter the scheme, your flat no longer has resale value. And this is something to think about if you want to leave something behind for your children or loved ones. On the other hand, if you want peace of mind, no housing stress, just want to enjoy your retirement with a steady income, then lease buyback might be a useful option. There's no right or wrong here, only what's right for you and your family. Talk to your family or HDB branch office officer to get a financial breakdown. Find out how much cash you can get, how much CPF you need to top up, and the estimate monthly payout before you decide. By the way, I did another video on various housing options for people aged 55 and above. You can check it around here. I'm Kenneth, and I'll see you next video.